Uh, this is Nicholas Montaigne. I am an urban forestry co-op student in the Faculty of Forestry at the University of British Columbia. Today, I'm presenting to you a soft landscape design strategy that can encourage climate change resilience for the UBC campus. In collaboration with the Sea Sustainability Program and the UBC Botanical Garden, this project is funded through UBC's Climate Emergency Response. The urban forests that are referred to and analyzed in this report are situated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam people. Every person listening to this presentation breathes in oxygen and exhales CO2. Let's imagine the CO2 used exhaled gets taken in by this tree and is converted to carbon through photosynthesis. We will follow the journey of this carbon atom as it moves through the tree. The Seed Sustainability Program synthesizes existing knowledge to create novel research positions. The process of innovation that can occur through seeds can be analogous to the path of this carbon atom that we will follow throughout this presentation. As we follow this carbon atom through the tree, we will zoom into parts of the canopy for the literature review, move to the project purpose in the main trunk of the tree, then examine relevant tools in the roots, move to the mycorrhizal network to discuss design strategies, then use the strategies to connect this report to the seedlings that are analogous to emerging UBC policies. What can nature teach us about building a sustainable world? Biomimicry is a discipline that examines the structures and functions that has allowed life to flourish over the past 3.8 billion years. Humanity currently faces a crisis in which we are exhausting our natural capital at an unsustainable rate. Biomimicry seeks to look to nature for innovative solutions that can help humans avoid catastrophic climate change impacts. Designing cities embedded in nature is a vision of a biophilic designer. Uh, from green walls to the greening of major transportation corridors, biophilic design unites many existing disciplines, such as biomimicry, to identify the patterns, elements, and benefits that encompass biophilic design. Green roofs, green walls, green corridors, and bioswales are all examples of biophilic design elements that can positively influence challenges in an urban environment, such as stormwater management. Nature is in a constant state of change. Passive transport mechanisms such as wind and water aid in plant dispersal, whereas fauna actively swim, fly, and walk to disperse from one habitat to another. Sometimes when a protected area is established, the surrounding landscape becomes fragmented by human development. Habitat fragmentation impedes the gene flow from one population to another and has a negative influence on biodiversity. The field of ecological connectivity seeks to create ecological networks that can encourage coexistence between humans and the natural environment. The polygons shown here in the simplified figure are caribou habitats, and the white links are structural connections or corridors that connect the habitats. This ecological network has high structural connectivity because there are numerous links associated with the red habitat, but low functional connectivity because there's only one organism present in the network, and the organism is not currently dispersing from one habitat to another. Now that we have a general understanding of the core topics for this presentation, let's keep on following this carbon atom as it moves down the tree so that we can learn about how this existing knowledge can help us create tools, strategies, and recommendations that can help UBC adapt to climate change impacts. Spatial mapping tools such as ArcGIS can help reveal the existing structural ecological connectivity of the UBC campus. Here we are on Main Mall near the Earth Sciences Center and the BD Biodiversity Center. The green polygons you see are soft landscapes on the UBC campus. A soft landscape is basically any plant or collection of plants in a defined area. Almost every organism on Earth is influenced by the distance from one habitat patch to another. Therefore, the proximity of one soft landscape to another soft landscape in an urban environment has a crucial impact on species dispersal and dynamics. By applying a 10-meter buffer to the soft landscapes at UBC, it becomes clear that some soft landscapes possess multiple overlapping buffers, while others have no overlapping buffers, such as the buffer shown up here. The more buffers a soft landscape has, the more likely that soft landscape is to facilitate species dispersal. The dark green soft landscape pictured down here possesses multiple overlapping buffers. Therefore, this soft landscape has high ecological connectivity. The areas of the UBC campus that are 10 or more meters away from any soft landscape are referred to as dead zones in this project because these areas of extensive gray infrastructure development likely impede the ecological connectivity of the UBC campus. In the final paper associated with this project, you can find an explanation of this web scene that shows the UBC soft landscapes extruded by their importance for ecological connectivity. Let's keep following this carbon molecule as it journeys throughout the tree. What happens once the carbon reaches the tips of the tree root? The white thread-like web that you see attaching to the roots of this tree is called a mycorrhizae. Mycorrhizae is a fungus that facilitates underground communication within a plant community. The fungus benefits from this relationship by receiving sugars from the host tree. In exchange, the mycorrhizae provides a pathway for plants to send signals to one another. Plants can also exchange carbon and essential nutrients such as nitrogen through the mycorrhizal network. Mycorrhizal fungi are agents of complex adaptive systems that can help the forest community as a whole become more resilient to anthropogenic climate change impacts, such as landscape homogenization, pest outbreaks, and extreme weather events such as drought. This mutualistic relationship between plant and fungus has been occurring underground since the symbiosis between plant and fungus approximately 450 million years ago. Today, mycorrhizal fungi can be found in every terrestrial ecosystem on Earth. The largest trees in a forest that Suzanne Simard, a forest ecologist in the UBC Faculty of Forestry, refers to as mother trees, are hubs of abundant and diverse mycorrhizal fungi species. Most mother trees have hundreds of mycorrhizal fungi associations. The diversity of plant mycorrhizal fungi interactions can be measured and displayed as a network with nodes and links. Using network mapping tools, researchers have found that mycorrhizal networks display a high degree of modularity. So what is modularity? In this simplified network, each of these groups of nodes and links is called a module. A network with a high degree of modularity is self-assembled into interconnected communities, aka modules, that are strung together by an optimized number of connections. A network with a high degree of modularity is resilient because it is more likely than a non-modular network to continue functioning after a shock to the system. The species diversity that brings forth modularity within mycorrhizal fungi communities helps to prevent disturbances in a forest ecosystem from cascading throughout the entire network. So given that researchers know that mycorrhizal fungi species diversity displays a high degree of modularity, let's think like a biomimic to understand what UBC can learn from the structure of mycorrhizal networks that can inform UBC's climate adaptation strategy. When the connections among soft landscapes in an urban area are assessed with a stormwater management objective in mind from a broader scale, it is often referred to as a green infrastructure network. Going back to the web map of buffered soft landscapes, my colleague Ben Schäufler was able to project the intersecting buffers of each soft landscape as a node and link network. The soft landscapes here are projected as nodes and each link represents a buffer overlap. The red dots are soft landscape polygons that are not linked with any other soft landscapes. We were able to perform this analysis on the entire UBC Vancouver campus. By thinking of the green infrastructure at UBC as an interconnected node and link network, we can identify which areas of the UBC campus display a low or high degree of modularity. Here we are, we were able to perform this analysis entirely. Here we are at the UBC turf fields. There's no grouping of nodes and links in this area, therefore the turf fields do not display modularity. Let's travel to the east side of campus. Here there are three distinct communities circled in red of nodes and links that display a high degree of modularity. Given that previous research has demonstrated that the species diversity of mycorrhizal networks displays a high degree of modularity, UBC can modify their green infrastructure network so that there are more modular communities of soft landscapes on campus. The soft landscape communities would mimic the modular design of a mycorrhizal network. The more links there are within soft landscape communities, the more modular the green infrastructure network can be. By implementing the soft landscape communities design strategy to areas of the UBC campus with low ecological connectivity, we are more likely to adapt to climate change impacts such as rising temperatures, extreme weather events, and biodiversity loss because this proposed network design strategy promotes resilience within the green infrastructure network. How can this design strategy fit within emerging biodiversity policies at UBC? Let's keep on following the carbon that originated from your breath until it reaches the seedlings that our mother tree is feeding knowledge and wisdom to. Each of these seedlings represents a campus policy that is constantly growing and responding to its environment. The 2020 Green Building Action Plan is structured around 8 component areas. The climate adaptability, biodiversity, and health and well-being component areas are all emerging and require substantial foundational work. Given that the upcoming Green Building Action Plan seeks to integrate novel climate adaptive design strategies to sustainable design policy at UBC, The design strategy proposed in this report aligns with the Green Building Action Plan's demand for climate adaptive design strategies. The dead zone areas referred to earlier in this presentation are areas of gray infrastructure that impede ecological connectivity. If UBC implements more green roofs on campus, the dead zone area will decrease substantially because green roofs could provide a habitat stepping stone that could increase the flow of organisms from one habitat patch to another. For example, if UBC creates a green roof on top of one of the biological sciences buildings, the dead zone area would decrease and the connectivity would increase. The strength of this module would increase as a result as well. Green corridors are another biophilic design element that can physically link an isolated soft landscape, provide a habitat stepping stone, and increase module strength. If UBC implements this soft landscape communities design strategy, resulting in more green corridors and green roofs on campus, then there will be more a permeable land area that reduces the total stormwater runoff of the campus. UBC has a history of crumbling stormwater detention tanks and outfall facilities. Therefore, there is a demand for novel nature-based solutions to stormwater management. If green corridors are implemented in the form of rain gardens or bioswales, then in addition to having the ecological connectivity of our campus increase, stormwater mitigation benefits will also occur. Green corridors are the easiest biophilic design element to implement on campus because the shape and size of a green corridor can be manipulated to fit a given area without having too high of an impact on the surrounding gray infrastructure. As outlined in a SEEDS report titled Green Corridor/Green Infrastructure at UBC, the benefits of a green infrastructure approach to stormwater management include stormwater cleansing, reducing stormwater runoff quantities, adding and relinking habitat, improving stream health, moderating microclimate, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. It is also suggested in the report that soft landscapes with more biodiversity likely intercept and retain more stormwater runoff than soft landscapes with less biodiversity. Therefore, green corridors could also help the Green Building Action Plan make progress towards the biodiversity component goal. Developing highly functioning landscapes is a biodiversity component area. Given that green corridors provide the co-benefits of increased connectivity, reduction in stormwater outflow, and increasing biodiversity, green corridors are the most suitable biophilic design element that results in a highly functioning landscape. There are even more benefits in green corridors that align with the health and well-being component goal. Urban forest cover helps to reduce the urban heat island effect. Therefore, hot summer days, which are increasing in frequency due to climate change, will be more tolerable and less likely to induce heat stroke. Green corridors have the ability to enhance the sense of place of the UBC campus and therefore also provide cultural ecosystem services for the people of UBC. So far, we've examined how learning from the modular design of mycorrhizal fungi communities can positively influence the Green Building Action Plan component areas. It is also important to point out the benefits of increasing the abundance of mycorrhizal fungi on campus. There's more carbon present in soil than carbon in our vegetation and atmosphere combined. Our carbon molecule may never reach the policy seedlings and may instead be stored within the mycorrhizal network. Plants that are able to communicate with one another are more likely to create conditions suitable for a biodiverse ecosystem. The trees in urban ecosystems possess fewer mycorrhizal associations than trees in a forest. Therefore, many trees in urban environments are unable to perform the beneficial communication that a tree is adapted to having. The fundamental influence that mycorrhizae have on plant-to-plant communication helps to organize the biodiversity of an ecosystem. Mycorrhizae also play a crucial role in drought resistance and soil water uptake. When UBC modifies soft landscapes in the future, the planting palette should consist of native plants that are known to possess a diversity of mycorrhizal fungi associations. Okay, now let's examine how the soft landscape communities design strategy can align with the UBC Climate Action Plan. The 2020 Climate Action Plan focused on climate change mitigation tactics to reduce greenhouse gas emissions of campus operations. The added green infrastructure needed to design modular soft landscape communities would increase the carbon sequestration of the UBC campus. Considering that green corridors and green walls are likely placed adjacent to buildings, these biophilic design elements could contribute to passive design. The shading from green corridors and green walls can result in energy savings for new and existing buildings of the UBC campus. With that being said, the design strategies and recommendations showcased in this report have more benefits for climate change adaptation compared to mitigation. There's not enough land area on the UBC campus for vegetation to have a sizable influence on Canada's carbon sequestration targets. UBC has previously implemented novel building design strategies to reduce the frequency of bird collisions on the walls of buildings. Bird-friendly glass is a common solution that UBC has previously employed to reduce bird collisions. In this project, green walls are presented as a biophilic design element that with the purpose of increasing ecological connectivity from a soft landscape up to a green roof. A co-benefit of green walls is that they can help reduce the frequency of bird collisions. An added benefit is that green walls also can provide nesting sites, shelter, and food for birds that interact with the UBC campus. The idea of increasing the ecological connectivity of an urban area is not new within Metro Vancouver. Functional connectivity of small mammals within Metro Vancouver has previously been measured. The city of Surrey conducted an ecosystem management study where they analyzed their green infrastructure network, then proposed recommendations to enhance ecological connectivity. Surrey followed these principles. One, preserving large core habitat areas. Two, ensuring connectivity between habitat areas. Three, providing a diversity of habitat features throughout the city. So the soft landscape communities design strategy proposed in this report can scale to the entire Metro Vancouver area and even to any other urban environment in the world. UBC is also interested in making progress towards the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Goal 11 is to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Given that resilience is a key outcome showcased in this state's report, by following the soft landscape communities design strategy, UBC is making progress towards becoming a campus that is more resilient to climate change impacts such as rising temperatures, extreme weather events, and biodiversity loss. Here are a couple takeaways from this research. Green spaces on campus are full of diverse and interacting species that should be managed at a community scale. Increasing soft landscape cover in dead zone areas will likely increase ecological connectivity. Biodiverse green spaces that are connected as a green infrastructure network help UBC adapt to a changing climate. And learning from the modular design of mycorrhizal fungi species diversity, applying a modular design to the green infrastructure network at UBC can result in a climate resilient campus that is more equipped to adapt to climate change if urban forest cover is preserved and increased. Students interested in research to the seed sustainability program should consider the following research questions that stem from the themes laid out in this report. That is my presentation. Thank you to the team that contributed to the seeds project, which includes Tara Moreau, Laura Arango, Paul Piquel, Lisa Riker, Penny Martin, Jake Lee, and Ben Schäufler. For more information, including references, please consult the seeds paper that is linked below. And I also included links to the web map in this report. Thank you so much for your attention. Have a good day.